I will be with you shortly. No, I don't really get much in the way of insider details, Split Snipe. I just do a lot of research. Most of the information's out there. You can talk to people in chat and stuff. I do have contacts that I do sometimes poke about questions. But typically, we just chat about things. Blah, 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 blah. If you'd like to ask a question, put question in brackets. It makes me easier for me to grab it out. I'm pretty tired today. We'll talk about some random stuff. What have we got? Oh, mate. 3.7 soon. It'd be 3.7. Ah. You vote start now. Well, let me... 1 second. 1 second. Oh. Right. I think... We're just going to probably go live, eh? Get all this stuff on the screen in the right places. Let's put this over here. Let's put this over here. Oh, thanks, Dynamars, for the resub. I swear to God, you always resub. Like every time I stream, I feel like you resub. It feels weird. It feels weird, man. It's just because you're here. I love you. You're the best. Or at least you're up there. No, we didn't have much in the way of the ASMR show this time. After today's stream, I'm going to try and work out how my auto mod works. My auto moderator, because it seems to get rid of some messages that I don't want it to get rid of. Is he still bald? Wow. No, mate, I sprouted a load of hair. Right, let's do this. Bam, bam. There we go, yeah. I'm still fucking bald. A full head of hair. Is that what you expected? You monster. People I have to deal with. So, in an hour and 20 minutes, there is a Star Citizen Live looking at Star Marine and the Good Doctor map. We may already start watching that Star Citizen Live and see if it's got any tangible, interesting information in. It might be interesting to watch party it. It might not. I am absolutely shattered. Oh, thank you very much, Mantis. Roger. I just call you Mantis like I normally do. Mantis, thank you very much for the resub. Very much appreciated. That's 13 months. It's lucky. It's a lucky month. Thanks. You spelled it. There's a lot of N's in the word months that you've placed there. Yeah, I discovered that I hadn't watched anything on Amazon Prime Video before, and so I binged The Boys, which is a very good sort of corrupt superhero that have all been like gone a bit mental because they think they're gods, basically, and they've all been corporatized. It's all weird. The voice was very good, but I watched it. I stayed up until 5 a.m. the other night watching it, and then watched the rest of it yesterday. I was just binged it over 2 days, and it broke me. I appreciate all the love. Why 16 gig memory in your rig? So at the moment, I've got probably about 40 tabs open on Chrome. That is the smallest amount of tabs of Chrome I've had open in probably a couple of years. So I use like 11 to 15 gigs of memory normally just on Chrome tabs. But for video editing, for recording and playing a game simultaneously, for doing multiple things, lots and lots of RAM is good. 64 gigs, probably slightly excessive, but 32 gigs is probably a little bit less than a little bit too less. A little bit too, not enough. You know what I mean? I use words sometimes. 32 gigs is the sweet spot for me at the moment, I think, for gaming, for RAM. But for like, I suppose all you really need is 16. All you really need is 16. But... What is he wearing? I'm wearing a BoredGamer t-shirt with my lovely logo on. I'm able to get into medium-sized t-shirts comfortably now. I've lost weight. Still fat, you know, not as fat. And yes, I'm still bored, Papa Mallow. You monster. Although you did donate me $5. So, you know, you can call me bald. You can tell me to fuck off. Fiver. Shit. So I hate everything about this new interdiction ship. I was loving the game because it didn't feel like EVE Online. With this new ship, I feel it's taking that route. How do you feel about it? So Tyler, I mean, we will have a disagreement, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a big fan of EVE Online, old style EVE Online with small scale engagements that could then sort of like ramp up, and I think Star Citizen can learn a lot from it. Obviously, in 3.6, the NPCs could interdict us. Now, players are going to be able to interdict each other in 3.7. As long as the system is balanced correctly, and it's not just a giant, just sucks you out of a quantum from billions of kilometers away, and you're just screwed once it does. And it's like, as long as it's balanced well, and it's like, well, even you can get away a lot of the time. It has to be done correctly. It's not just a catch-all. As long as that mechanic's balanced right, I think it'll be fine. I want small-scale interaction with NPCs and players to sort of like happen. So occasionally I do want to get ganked. I mean, I don't want it to happen all the time. I want it to happen very rarely. But I want there to be horror stories that happen like that. I don't want it to just be, oh, I'm sucked out of Quantum, they just murder me. It's more likely they'll try and extort you or whatever. It depends on what area of space you're in as well. Like if you're in a safe area, if you're in a semi-secure system like Stanton, it's going to be a lot harder, if not impossible, to quantum interdict people in the future once they have the full law system in and, like, you know, have NPCs in the Navy detecting that sort of stuff. So once all the mechanics are there, I think we can have a bit more of an idea exactly how the mechanics should work and how we want it to work as a player base. I think it's an important mechanic for the game. I want there to be ways of preventing people from getting away, or at least pulling people out and potentially slowing people. I do want them to be able to get away if they're clever or lucky, or if they're with a strong enough party. I want disengagements to be a thing. So you don't want people to just be like, "Ah, I'm going to attack you. I'm running away," just every time you see someone. So otherwise piracy doesn't work, and piracy is an important part of the game. That's my feeling on it. I quite like the idea of quantum interdiction in game, or quantum enforcement as it's now called, and the way they described it is fine to me. On paper, with having the bubble that you can generate, you put power in, it can be detected, all that sort of stuff in the future. It's important that it can be detected. It's important that it's built into the law system, but also you have the quantum dampening, which is if you're really close, you can sort of like instantly go bam, and within 3,000 meters of you, you can't start your quantum drive. So I like it for both those sort of like techniques. and it makes sense to me. I'm not sure if I like the idea of just a single focus ship that does it. I think I would have liked it more if it was a module that other ships could have used. And maybe they'd just be for very limited periods of time. But they've got a focus ship for it. Doesn't preclude they might do it in other ways as well in the future. I think it might be good, but we'll have to wait and see until it's actually in our hands, I suppose. But I actually quite like Eve's influence in the game. You can't be reading 40 tabs at once. No, I read like... I can have like 4 tabs open on 4 different screens at once. Like, physically in front of me. And then I switch between the tabs. To do with like research, reading, moving around stuff. Copy and pasting. Taking notes. How am I today? I'm good, just tired. Tired from binge watching stuff on TV. Have you tried the mobile Second Galaxy or EVOCATI? No. I don't even know what that is. Uh, 128 gigabyte or go home. Mate, I'm moving over to probably the Ryzen Threadrippers. Well, I am. That's the plan. I'm going to get 64 gigs of RAM in that, but it has to be significantly faster than the 3000 megahertz RAM I'm running at the moment. That's at least 3600. Yeah, for just gaming, 64 gigs of RAM is massively over thingamajig. It's more than necessary. I've lost the ability to use words correctly. I've got a little gimbal now, my GoPro for CitizenCon, which I will be using for interviewing. I've got a microphone and stuff for it as well that works really well and is suitable for my needs. I've also noticed when I turn the gimbal on, I can make the gimbal like move left and right if I want to, although I can just use my hand. It's supposed to keep it in position and stabilized. However, if I do this, the gimbal just goes fucking mental. Eh? I don't think I'm supposed to do that. But that's pretty cool. My GoPro will connect to my camera is the idea. So my GoPro will connect to my phone, and I can stream direct from my phone, or I can record straight from my GoPro. I need to keep my ego in check. What? Just by telling me to fuck off? by paying me money and saying I'm bored. I am bored, and thanks for the money. Appreciate it. Shite! If you're not using overclocked 64 gigs of RAM, then you're doing it wrong. No, I haven't overclocked it. This is XMP profiled. Been playing Borderlands 3 while waiting for 3.7. Everyone have a great weekend and get laid. Thanks, bud. Thank you very much, Shite, for that super chat donation. Very much appreciated. I wanted to play Borderlands 3, but the people I would play with, Zin and Kit and DC and people, not so much Kit, but Zin and DC especially, are sort of like very anti-Epic Gaming Store. I don't really care that much about it. Although I suppose I'm more pro-consumer than not pro-consumer, although I'm also a bit of a capitalist as well at heart, because, you know, run my own business. So, I'm probably just going to wait to play Borderlands 3 now until it's on Steam. Which is annoying. I suppose, what was it? Is Shadowkeep out next week? Destiny 2? There's some other games coming out next week. I mean, I'm desperately waiting on 3.7 to be in wider PTU. I was hoping it would be today, but it looks more likely it will be next week now. It also looks like 3.7 live is planned for the 10th of October. Oh, so today I wanted to talk about a little bit about the Star Citizen anniversary of sort of like Star Citizen's announcement. And it's starting to be funded on Kickstarter and that sort of stuff. That was on the 10th of October. So 10th of October is typically when CitizenCon is in each year, but they've moved that to the 23rd of November. So the anniversary is still effectively on the 10th of October still. And there seems to be a reasonable amount planned, and I'm expecting a bit more. So it looks like the RSI Mantis will go on sale for the 10th of October. It looks like 3.7 is planned to be live then as well. There's the ship showdown, which looks like it's going to do some stuff, and we'll talk about that in a bit more today as well. Just think it's interesting that they've all sort of like planned it around then. There's the auto moderator. Any rude words, even damn, gets removed and auto moderated. I say auto moderated. It auto moderates it and then removes it and says this message is held for review for me. Stuff like that. Duke Powers, will they amount of shit people give you? How do you think they will feel when you hang out with the Matadors at CitizenCon? I'm happy to hang out with the Matadors at CitizenCon. People can give me as much shit as they fucking want. Look, I'm relatively neutral when it comes to how people want to play their games. If people want to be naughty little edgy boys, I might still hang around with them and chat to them, or happily still talk to people. And, you know, I get on reasonably well with a lot of the Matadors. So, I'm sure people have had individual problems with individual members. That's not really my issue. I'd rather talk to people and be friendly with people and hang out with people than not. And I'd rather do that with all top parts of the Star Citizen community. I mean, even if DS and FTR and people that are not really liked in the Star Citizen community, even if they were around, I would happily hang out with them and chat to them. Does that make me monstrous? I hope not. I think I'm pretty neutral. I like talking to people. I like, I'm friendly. I think people can hold entirely different opinions and ways of life to me, and I can still get on with them. I'm a civil person. I think I am, anyway. How about fuck you? Do you think that? Do you think about that? Do you think how civil I am now? Oh, there's lots of people sending me money. Why are you sending me money? What is this? Oh, what are you sending me money for, Robert Johnston? I love you, by the way. I stream again. I only have so many kidneys. Stop. You don't have to send me money constantly. I do appreciate it, though. Don't get me wrong. Gimbal and sexy toy. What a bonus. It is, isn't it? It's a bit of a... I'm not going to spin it around again. Because if I spin it around again, it goes mad again. I'll do it one more time, eh? Oh. If I break it. It's not so weird. Why does it try and auto-stabilize like that? I love this. This is the chicken head. I'm not sure if it's right. Huh. Give us some angles. In certain positions, it's sort of like the camera still moves. I think I need to play around with it. Calibrate it. It's not been calibrated yet. That's just it being turned on. I need to try and pair it with my phone. Didn't work out to pair it with my phone earlier. Because I'm a bit mad. Mantis was... I love you. Oh, Mantis has gifted a sub to Docker Alpha. Good man. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. I do appreciate it. Very kind. Everyone's very kind. I mean, not everyone. What else have we got? Is there differences in the showdown ships on sale versus previously sold ships? No. They are ships that are on sale because of the ship showdown, but there's no free skins with them. There's no changes in their lifetime insurance or insurance rates or anything like that. They're just showdown edition, which means they've been unlocked because of the ship showdown. So it's 16 ships total, some of which are typically on sale anyway, like the Gladius. But there's a load of other ships. We can actually bring it up on the screen. So we got the ship showdown stuff. And all these ships are available. So we've got the 300i, which is always available. And you can see it won't say ship showdown when it looks at the pledge package for it. So just a standalone 300i. But then when I click on something that's not normally available, like the Caterpillar, go down there, and it will say Caterpillar 2949 Showdown Edition, because it's not normally available, and we've made it available for this ship showdown. So the top 16 ships that were voted on are the 300i, 600i, 890 Jump. I say voted on, let me explain. That's not voted on. Avenger Titan, Caterpillar, Constellation Aquila, Cutlass Black, Dragonfly, Freelancer Max and Miss, Gladius, Hammerhead, Reclaimer, Retaliator Bomber, Valkyrie, and Vanguard Warden. Now, these were slightly created by CIG, the list of those 16, and it was based on community sort of hashtagging and creations that people had made over the last couple of weeks. They were like, oh, share your favorite ship in an interesting creation or screenshot or whatever. So people were sending tattoos and models and stuff like that on social media, and they worked out using magic and probably a little bit of marketing what were the top 16 ships. Now those 16 ships, they're going to announce a winner of what the favorite ship is, most voted on ship, on the 10th of October. But every day until then, they sort of like have a ship fight, which will have 2 of those 16 ships against each other on a table that you can then vote on. So yesterday was the Cutlass Black versus the 300i, and the Cutlass Black won that because it got like 6,000 votes to 2,000 votes. Today is today we'll have the winner of the Constellation Aquila and the Freelancer Max, which is almost certainly going to be the Constellation Aquila, or Aquila, or Aquila, however you want to say it. And then I suspect that the Cutlass Black and the Constellation Aquila will fight it out in the round 2. But then we'll have all those ships go fight each other. And then when it gets to the top 4, something special is happening with the top 4. We don't exactly know, but expect it to be on the 10th of October, that maybe the top 4 will be freely flyable, or will be given exclusive skins that you can purchase, or be added to the customization ship shop thing from the RSI website, or get specialist loadouts made like the Masters of Flight series. And then again, with the actual champion, expect something special with that as well. I'm expecting a free fly on the 10th of October. That's an expectation. I'm expecting some cool sales stuff. I'm expecting the Mantis to go on sale, 3.7 to go live. It is Star Citizen's sort of like announcement anniversary, and I suspect they might have a little video or something to share as well. I'm not saying they do. I'm saying that's what I expect. Also, if you haven't voted yet on that head-to-head, so if I've lost enthusiasm in my voice, it's because I'm fucking tired. So apologies for that. Like, he sounds tired and burnt out. I'm not that burnt out. I'm just tired. I am bored. That is true. What do I think of Virpal joysticks? Yes, I've got a Virpal stick and HOTAS, the Constellation Delta. It's the best, by far, HOTAS I've ever used. But bar none. Virpal, in my opinion, do the best sticks, Space Cowboy, and I would highly recommend. The only ones I've used are, I've used dual stick Constellation Deltas, but I prefer stick and throttle. Their throttle is very, very good feeling, and yeah, it's by far the best HOTAS I've ever used. Do you think the Mantis will go on sale today? It's possible that it could go on sale before 3.7 goes live, and it could go on sale today. That's a possibility. Not going to deny that. But the media, from like the Newsweek article, which we can actually bring up here. Let me link it as well as an authoritative source. It said 10th of October, I think, or might have been the other article actually that said 10th of October. No, it was the GameStar one. Bear with me. Let me just actually bring that up. GameStar. So the translated GameStar article, I believe, said 10th. Quantum entanglement and quantum damping are the 2 core features of the Mantis, which will be available to purchase from 10th of October 2019, in-game to mark the 7th anniversary of the Kickstarter campaign starting, the announcement of Star Citizen, basically. Start of the Kickstarter campaign, anyway. I think it goes on to say that 3.7 is going to be released, or at least is suspected to be released then as well. But yeah, let me link the GameStar article as well for those of you inclined. They didn't. CIG did not pay for those exclusives from Newsweek and GameStar. They just gave them exclusives, I believe, Someone asked, I think it was probably what someone in the Star Citizen refunds, like, haha, they're getting exclusives, look at them use media to their advantage, but they didn't pay for anything. They just gave an exclusive out. What else have we got here? I'm trying to get an Orion this year. Do you think the price will go up this anniversary? I don't know how much it's worth. We can have a look and see how much it was last time. So let's do that now. Ship Matrix. No, not Ship Matrix. Pledge Store. Ship upgrades. And then we go to get rid of my ships, and we'll go down here, and then look for. What am I looking for? The Orion. 450 last time it was on sale. The Orion, or at least that's how much it's currently worth. I suspect it's probably gonna, get up to $600 at least next time it goes on sale. I'd buy it in game, although it's going to be quite an expensive one in game as well. But it is. I mean, anything over $100, I think, is far too much for a spaceship, in my opinion. And that's just myself financially. I'd spend the money on, alcohol or better PC parts. But there's going to be lots of people that makes more sense for them to have to buy purchases like that and support the development further. And fucking good for you. Thank you for helping make a better game. But so anytime people ask me, do I think spaceships are worth the price? They are not. However, I still want them, and I still buy them. The difference is that in Elite is that gameplay tilts the scales in favour of the victim. Having a fuck you button tips the scales in the favour of the aggressor. Neither approach is wrong, but you've got to decide which one you're going for as a dev. Yeah, so with the quantum stuff, the quantum entanglement stuff, quantum enforcement, quantum interdiction, whatever you want to call it, it just needs to be appropriately balanced so that it gives interesting gameplay, that you can fuck over other players occasionally, that piracy can exist, that both players can be rewarded for an encounter done correctly. I love you, Big Tater, by the way. Thank you very much for the love. Yes, and the amount of tabs that I have do help with me answering questions faster. But mainly it's just because I'll have a main work one where I'm writing stuff down and taking notes from lots of different videos. Essentially, one with important day-to-day stuff and admin stuff on. What is the point of special variants of ships if you will be able to have full modular components and custom paints? Not that much, then. So the only thing that I would be happy, I don't buy those weird variants that they do of ships typically. Well, sometimes I do. But if they had like a very special skin, like that's fine. It's all marketing. It's just so they can sell more ships or whatever. We will have fully modular components, fully modular weapons, and changes and upgrades and things that we can do to ships, and custom paints and some custom skins as well. And yeah, so in the future we'll be able to do that. So why would you spend more money on getting a ship with a weird loadout that's not perfect? Well, some people will, some people won't. How confident are you that combat will get loads better with less lag? Rubber banding, etc. Once server-side object container streaming comes to the game, what else might improve? I'm confident that combat and lag and rubber banding issues will all be removed at some point, or say removed. Highly will be relatively unnoticeable at some point. With server-side object container streaming, there's certainly going to be marked improvements with that and with the rest of the server-to-actor network rework stuff. Obviously, that they need to finish off making everything server authoritative, and then lots and lots of optimizations for networking code. Server-side object container streaming is not all of the optimizations they need for less rubber banding, less lag, that sort of stuff. Server meshing also helps with that. So server-side object container streaming could have a lot of gains. But it's lots of other stuff and components and parts of that that also need to come online to have a great sort of multiplayer experience. And they also need to like get the animation lag down and things like that. There's 250 milliseconds of lag in some of the animations, which means that that's a quarter of a second. So you can be significantly like in a totally different place to where you were when you're being shot at. So prediction doesn't work necessarily great. You think the price of the... Oh, sorry, talked about that. Can you use the F7C Hornet carry-all box on the Super Hornet? Second, can you... I believe you can move the... in the future, at least, I believe you can now, but I haven't actually checked it. You should, in the future, be able to move that carry-all box onto the Super Hornet, as far as I'm aware. Because it just takes the same slot as the ball turret. Second, can you access said box in-game to store mission boxes or backup or backpacks? Third, if it's not accessible, will it be in the future? So it's not accessible in the future to store mission boxes or anything. It's only trade items. So non-interactable items can be put in there and sold. But in the future, I believe the plan is to allow those items to be open-uppable and put boxes in, put items in them physically. Don't know when, though. Can we ask questions here in the chat? Yes. That is the point. Board, the gyro stabilized camera you need to wear on your shoulder during CitizenCon, so it looks like on the plasma guns that the Predators use. Yes. Fucking 100%, mate. And it can go mental. It's going alright, Alfred. I'm super tired. How do you gift subs? I don't fucking know. Is it the button at the top? Is there a button at the top that gifts subs? Something like that, isn't it? Oh yes, gifting subs is a Twitch-only thing at the moment. Yeah, so 3.7 is currently with EVOCATI. Can I grow potatoes on a carrack for long voyages? There might be like a grow room. Like, you know, like we've got the kitchen on the 890 jump. I think that we might see like a planty type room in the carrack, just so it looks like it's generating oxygen or whatever. You just pretend there's potatoes in there, maybe. Unconfirmed, but that's the sort of thing I'm expecting to see on the carrack. Like a, you know, long haul oxygen gen room. Oh, YouTube is beta testing the new gifting feature for its premium subscribers. That allows users to spend $2 on super chats for their favorite creator. Wow, $2. Lucky. I was sitting down. So why do this feel like choosing ships which will be uppriced? Great marketing move aimed for money. Yes, it's called marketing. And marketing aims to make money. What's the problem with that? You just go, yeah, they're trying to make money by marketing ships. Cool. I'm not going to buy one of them. I'm not going to buy these ships that are marketed in this way. They're the same ships we already have. We can buy them in-game. A little bit of hype and stuff to make you want to buy them. To encourage you to buy them if you were thinking of buying them. Do you think it's staged and or odd the carrack did not make the top 16 ships? No. It's not. It's flyable ships, Houdini. Flyable ships. The top 16 flyable ships in game. Should have made that clear. When do you think the Corsair will be flyable? Drake Corsair, Drake Pipeline's pretty refined. End of next year? Maybe start of 2021. It's not a huge ship, but it's medium-sized. Doesn't require any extra mechanics, really. Disappointed but not surprised the Aquila is beating the Max in their showdown. I can imagine CIG will put the Retaliator versus the Miss as a missile boat showdown. Oh, maybe. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be random, because the Cutlass was going against the 300i. Didn't make that much sense. Do you know what I mean? Could be totally random. Could be specially created to for marketing purposes again. Banu Defender. Okay, so we can actually look at... I do have a new video up going over inside Star Citizen, but we'll also...
Hello.
Also put this up here. It'll show my logo in a second, but... So we saw some more of the externals and internals of the Banu Defender. Obviously, this is the gold standard for Banu ships, but this is the lighting pass basically of the ship at the moment. So it should look a lot better when it's actually in game in engine properly. Inside in a second. It's very, very Geiger, very alien. Very cool looking. I think it looks cool. I think it's absolutely fantastic. However, it's not a ship that I want to own. I'm just doing a lighting pass, so you can see models in that. Oh, I did not I got a frame with Luke Presley in it by accident. Yeah, that's good to know. Already gone out now, the video. Fuck. Oh well. I'm the worst. Mate, you don't watch my videos for, you know, great editing. You watch them because I make you feel pretty. Will the roadmap be updated today? Yes, and you'll have another roadmap roundup. It's actually pretty interesting, typically. So, it looks like all the features at the moment look like they're going to make 3.7 that they expected. I'm hoping to get some, well, we'll see if anything has changed on that later today, I suspect. If anything new is going to be added, anything gets changed around, hopefully we'll get some more information on 3.8 as well. How do you think will the Org gameplay look later on? How large of battles will there be, and how will the Orgs interact with each other? So you need systems in place so you can have Org members as part of an Org that are in some sort of like always in a party together, but like in an Org party, and then you can have like Org wars between those factions, so like in a faction party together, and you can see who's in what Org. You can be able to scan people, see their names, see which Orgs they're in. You need to have some form of Org rep, the abilities for Orgs to share like assets. So there's more generally the ability for people to share assets, send money to each other, and that sort of stuff. Shared hangars, shared storage, that sort of stuff. They need to expand it out to other systems and sort of like gameplay areas which can effectively be controlled by Orgs, reasons to Orgs to fight, and reasons for them to work together. They want to unify the sort of like internal and external ways of communicating together, so you could pre-set up a party on Spectrum. I'm actually feeling very well, so pardon me if I suddenly dash off. Apologies. So they want to have their sort of like unified external and internal stuff. So on Spectrum, you could set up a party, bam, everyone adds to the party, ready to go. When you come into Star Citizen, you're already in that party with those people. So it's just some basic stuff that you'd expect. I also expect them to use a load of the stuff from EVE, organization-wise, because it works quite well. The downside I see with organizations at the moment is that CIG haven't limited their size at all. I haven't said what downside there should be to having an infinitely large organization, because in EVE, you can only have orgs of a certain size. So, and there's reasons for that, because otherwise you have just a giant, huge org that can, you know, not have to worry about alliances. Saber going on sale at CitizenCon? Yes, should be. I would expect all ships, almost all ships that have previously been sold. be on sale around CitizenCon or within like a couple of weeks of it, because they've got the Anniversary Expo at the same time. Board, I really like the way CIG said that you'd be able to share profits with missions. Yeah, so in 3.7, we've got mission sharing now. You can share missions with the group you're with, and you will share the rewards in those missions. There's also going to be missions that are specifically built to be done with more than one person. So more difficult missions, basically. There's even that rank 5 crime rating one where you've got to go and hunt Navy ships down and stuff as a criminal. How custom do you think custom paints will be? Will it just be colour palettes like Destiny or Warframe? Expect simple to start with. Simple colour palettes and the ability to change some areas of the ship to different colours and some patterns on them to start with, and then later on more complicated. So it's going to be aftermarket paint jobs, simple to start with. Later on, probably like flames and stuff on your ship as well, and potentially custom decals in the future. Something they were looking at if it's at all viable. If the Mantis goes on sale on the 10th of October, do you think it was wise marketing it, advertising that it was coming soon when the sale is actually 24 days away? Soon TM. It's not 24 days away, but October 10th. It's 2 weeks away. Less than 2 weeks away, mate. So 13 days. Oh, you're saying the start, Houdini, you're saying the start of when they started revealing it was 24 days away. Yeah, I think maybe we won't know until the actual sales figures come in, I suppose. I think they were hoping that they'd have the PTU out already and the ship would be in people's hands. So I think they wanted to reveal the ship before people were talking about it from EVOCATI. Yeah? And in the PTU. So I'm not sure if it was a sensible idea or not. Do you think they could have server-side object container stream in 3.7? No. Unless they've been super secret about it and actually saying, oh no, it's not ready yet. Like, it actually is. They have talked about decoupling full persistence and some of the parts of server-side object container streaming and being able to put it in sooner rather than later. So we could see some parts of persistence, some parts of object container streaming between now and the end of the year. And that could enable them to actually have microtech in the game. Is there a chance of a ship sale for the anniversary? So we're expecting the Mantis will go on sale. And they obviously are doing currently the ship showdown stuff. So I'm expecting there will be a greater sale for the ship showdown stuff on the 10th of October as well. Do you think the first wave PTU will start tonight? It's possible, but it's extremely unlikely in my opinion. Oh, they're out of hats and merch. I was supposed to buy one for a friend. So Robert Johnston, they are redoing a load of their merch. They made a load of the legacy merch. They just like removed it. And they're getting some new stuff in soon. So I'm not sure what hat you're talking about. So like, this is never coming out, right? Oh, Patrick. I can't tell you for certain because I can't see the future. The Star Citizen Alpha is already available to play, such as it is a effective multiplayer glorified tech demo at the moment, so that is quite fun as a tourist. It looks like Star Citizen's going to come out in the future as a persistent thing. It's taking a long time to develop. It's going to be many more years before it's considered actually released. Squadron 42, Episode 1, the single-player campaign stuff, and obviously its own separate game, but part of the Star Citizen universe. That should be out much sooner. They've got a feature-complete beta planned for Q3 2020, so next year. And CitizenCon this year, you should see a lot more about that, and a lot more about the sort of like plans and actual tangible progress that CIG have made on both games. Thanks for the money. Appreciate it. What about the Mercury Star Runner? A really fucking good question. Okay, so we know that the Hercules Starlifter is planned for 4.0 now. Originally, they said they wanted to get the Mercury Star Runner in before they got the Hercules in, and then they get the Hercules in afterwards. But the Star Runner, the Mercury, is no longer and was not currently on the roadmap. Okay? So, it's possible that the Mercury is coming after 4.0 or in 4.0, but it's also possible that it's coming before and it's just not on the roadmap yet. So, we'll have to wait and see. But again, it's very possible they just rescheduled them. Actually, we need the Hercules first. Last two Citizen Cons, we got two big ships, the Pioneer and the Kraken. Anvil cap ship this time. Yes, quite possible. So Anvil are the sponsors of this year's Anniversary Expo and CitizenCon, and it makes sense that it's a large Anvil ship that they'll also have on sale then, as well as the like Anvil Pisces and that sort of stuff. No Saber in top 16. Yeah, so am I. I'm sad about that too. When will we get short-range dogfighting as opposed to chase the distant dot? There. So they want to make dogfighting closer, so you can see your targets. It's a bit more visceral and a bit slower. That should be coming with balance, would be my expectation. Yeah, so there's some problems with some ships having weak hulls, having holes in their shields, having weak shields, things like that. There's loads of problems with combat at the moment, and there's loads of problems with balance, and there's loads of bugs with it as well. Oh, I date could. I love your face. Why do I call you Kebber? Why do I call you Kedder? I don't know. I just call you AC. I can't read. Even though I know you, I can't read. How bad is that, eh? Fine, coming out. You know, coming out. Dad, I'm a computer game. Like that. Is that how you mean coming out? We knew you were a computer game, son. We've known all along. You think we'll get the Polaris this year? No. Unless they've been really secretive about it. I think it's a ship they'll get in at the end of next year. Jaden Cattrall, nearly 2 years of great content. Keep them coming, board. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm not even sure if you really mean it or not, but I appreciate it anyway. Thanks very much. Oh, you star, thank you. So, soon, I'm thinking that we could get this with 3.8. They are planning to put the ability in for your Alpha UEC and Alpha UEC purchases, so ships you buy in game, to be saved between patches. Now, they will occasionally still do resets, but I think we might start getting that with 3.8. That's my hope. You did say they were able to decouple that functionality from full persistence. Hi, Board. Much love to your great baldness. Liking the playthroughs you started doing. Looking forward to 3.7. Yeah, so I wanted to do a load more gameplay, but I was like, I'm now just waiting on 3.7 to do it. But I think I'll be a bit more aggressive. With bam, 3.7's come out. Cover 3.7, do a load of guides, do a load of sort of like features, state of the game, and then get some gameplay in. Bam, 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 bam. What's your opinion of the F8 Lightning? Looks like a cool heavy fighter. I like the look of it. Probably a fighter I will have in my arsenal. I think it would hands down win any contest. Yeah, it's pretty slick. But it has to be flyable ships. The ship showdown stuff was all flyable. If ships are bought in 3.6.2, will they be gone with the server resets for 3.7? If you buy them in-game, yes. If you buy them with real money, no. Finally done with work. Long 13-hour day, man. Do not envy you. I mean, I spend a lot of time at my computer researching and doing bits of videos, but I'm also, doing other stuff, watching you know, Netflix or whatever, or doing my own stuff as well, and taking breaks whenever the fuck I want. So what I do is relatively time intensive, but it's pretty relaxing. It's not super taxing either. Perfect for me. I'm surprised they put the Aquila versus the Max. I would have thought it would be Aquila versus Dur. What are your thoughts of the ship showdown so far? Neutral. Haven't really seen much from it yet. If I knew that what we were voting on, I'd have a bit more sort of like, come on! But at the moment, it's just voting for your most favourite ship of the ships that are fighting against each other. So if it was like, we know we're getting skins for those ships, we know they're getting them cheaper, we know they're going to make add them to the ship customization tool, we know they're going to do Masters of Flight series with them, then I'd be a bit more sort of like into it. It's, you should be hyped. Why? We're not telling you. What? Okay. PTU tonight, Ford said so. Huh. I don't know if that's an accurate quote of what I said. But if I'm the source, then it must be true, right? I was unhappy they delayed my Hull C. Usable or not, I want to look around. Yeah, so, I mean, they've had stuff on the Hull C for ages. Obviously, just not its expanding out, working properly. Them having cargo on its spindles and having the ability to ship to station dock. So they've sort of like delayed a load of those features, unfortunately, and the Hull C is currently off the roadmap, which is a big shame. 3 million a year, so yeah, that's this sort of like estimated amount of money that the CIG currently get for subscriptions each year, the voluntary subscriptions. And so I'll give you my 2 cents. I have a bit of a whine, such as it is. Does not have to be your opinion. It is mine. CIG need to make more video content for that. So 99% of CIG's video content is paid for, effectively, with subscriber money. And that subscriber money is for that video content, for greater community engagement, for subscribers, for subscriber perks, and that sort of stuff. So when they take a 3-week break, so yesterday's Inside Star Citizen, that was the last one they're having until the 24th of October. They have so few shows a year to justify that $3 million amount of money, in my opinion. So I would like just to see Calling All Devs come back. I'd like to see at least two video shows a week, always, and at least one live show, and some community engagement in terms of some articles maybe written about questions answered and stuff like that. Jump Point's actually pretty good as well. Jump Point's part of that, admittedly. I just want a bit more content. I'd like ship shapes. I'd like deep dives into individual mechanics. I'd like them to discuss individual sort of like job roles from their studios, what each of the individual teams do, and then update them, and have that separate to Inside Star Citizen. Yeah, I think we all like the Hull C, or at least we see that the Hull C is really important for the game. Is there Star Citizen Live today? Yes, in 32 minutes, Game Glass. Oh, people should go and check out GameGlass.gg and use the code BoredGamer. Bam! GameGlass.gg allows you to turn a tablet or phone or touchscreen device into a diegetic gaming controller for games like Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, other games. Sorry, I am taking the piss. Game Glass is actually generally really good, and I fucking love them. It's some things I can't ever get out of my head after I learn them, though. But yeah, you can, in addition to having a HOTAS, like a Virtual HOTAS, having multiple touchscreens that are done by like Game Glass or something. Game Glass is the best diegetic touchscreens I've seen for Star Citizen by a couple of magnitudes, and there are others from other people, some of which are free. Actually, saying that, Game Glass is actually free, and there are just additional functionality. You can purchase additional shards for like mining. But cool touchscreen. You can use like dials and things on them as well on the touchscreen, so it's pretty useful. But yeah, Game Glass, it's good. Got multiple videos on my channel as well. I recently interviewed the creators who are adding some cool extra little things to it. They're going to increase more and more of the shards and more of the sort of like ways you can interact with the Game Glass. Enough shilling! Enough shilling! But feel free to ask Game Glass any questions you want on Game Glass. Feel free to shill your own stuff as well. Happy. I'm never coming out. What? Light sticks, yes. So we've got light sticks, glow rods, whatever you want to call them. Glowy pens. Flashlights and sticks. Stick lights. You chuck them around. With the jukebox we got for the hangers that we could put our own music on in a folder. Yeah, we used to be able to do that and play them in game. Do you think we'll get a music player that we can use in ships on display like other stuff? Yeah, but it might be only be able to put music on from in game. I'm not sure of the legality of having other things played. I have a fucking stonking headache, so apologies. No, they're closer to making sort of like between 30 and 40 million a year with chip sales and all other sales. Thanks, Steinblock, I think. I don't... Can you elaborate on what turns you off about the Defender? Yeah, I can, actually. So, typically, I quite like clean-looking ships. The Banu Defender is organic and a bit too chaotic for me. I like... when I play games and when I do like roleplay or whatever, I typically go for human stuff as well. I like humans as racing games. I like sort of like the cleanliness of the ships in Star Citizen, and I like the functionality. Like you can see the purpose in a lot of the ships in Star Citizen. With the Defender, it's supposed to be alien, and it looks a bit too sort of like, you know, Geiger-esque and chaotic to me. So it turns me off because of that. I don't like the colours internally either. I like them. I think they look cool, but I wouldn't want to own it because of it. We can believe the coming Banu Defender soon. Future? Wow. That was such a broken sentence, but I love you. Yeah, so they can start working on the Banu Defender, the Banu Merchantman once the Defender's out. I would expect to see the Banu Merchantman at the end of next year. I think it's something they're going to try and get in. Something they like will show at next year's CitizenCon sort of thing. What do you think of the Vanguard Warden weapon hardpoint places? Okay, so we need more. We're going to get options for the Vanguard nose weapons in 3.7 apparently, which is good. I don't really mind about the placement of the weapons. I just want to be able to gimbal all its weapons. You might think I'm monstrous for saying that. If you're having auto gimbals, you need the ability for most of the ships to be able to have full auto gimbal loadouts if they want. Do you think that they will fix the reclaimer ladders anytime soon? So with the staggered development stuff, I'm expecting 3.7 or at least 3.8 to be significantly more playable than previous patches, with a load of those bugs really, really hammered out. BoredGamer keeps promising to do in-game playthroughs, but doesn't do it. Do you think he needs to produce a monthly roadmap? We're going to staggered playthrough development now. I keep on wanting to do it, but playing the game, I have to like record for like 3 hours to then clip it down into like, you know, half an hour of footage, typically. It just takes a long time of recording, and then it might not be, any of it might not be usable. So when there's bugs and problems in the game, or when there's a new patch coming out, I typically will want to wait. Do you think the character will have some way of refueling itself for long-distance travel and exploration? Will its long range be limited by its storage? I think it's going to have very good way. I think it's going to be able to have ways of getting fuel, or being able to generate fuel, or gathering fuel. Yeah, I think there will be some ways of doing that. To me, that at least makes sense. You're going to have a long-range expedition ship. You need it to be able to be, you know, out longer than any other ship in the game. Potentially be entirely self-sufficient. Oh, I love the appreciation. I come here just for the ego stroking. Thank you very much, Ryan Weber. Damn straight board, more video content and bring back Ben Ashuri. Yeah, so it's a shame. I think Ben's has problems with his eyes now. He does still work on Jump Point as far as I'm aware. Yes, he's working on his Wing Commander podcast as well. There could be some sort of mini refueling tank for the Carrack. Why isn't mass more represented in game? It feels so fake when 100-ton ship backflips when it grazes a wall. So there are problems with hover mode in 3.6. Some people disagree with that. There's probably going to be problems with the new assist mode in 3.7. Ships will have mass at some point. Well, they have mass, but ships will feel like they've got mass and atmosphere is the one of the ideas. So you will start to feel that in the flight model. No, motherfucker, you're not anonymous. Unless you want to be anonymous. Bug Smashers ended because of the CryEngine lawsuit. That's what it appears to have happened. But I suspect we'll see a new series, Bug Smasher-like, in the future, maybe? Maybe? Do you think Chris Roberts has a Scrooge McDuck-style vault that he swims in? No. Have you tried to swim through actual coin currency? Those ducks would be, like, pebble dashed across that. They'd be shredded. With a cat o' nine tails at them. There's a load of numbers in that a day, AC, and I couldn't work any of it out. Wait, it's true. SI with breaks only 9 months, 6 to 8 videos per month, 330,000. I sub, but put a little bit more money per month into the project, but just admit you use it for other things too. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them saying, yeah, we use the sub money for CitizenCon stuff, for some of these big events or whatever. If they say that, great. But just be honest about it. Tell us what's going on with it. If they're not using it for anything else, then give us more shit. Yeah, they're just lying to us for the reasons to have time off from their Inside Star Citizen videos. Well, I'm not sure if they're lying to us. I want more. I don't think everything that CIG do is a crafty, like, they're lying, they're not telling us the truth, or whatever. I don't think it's, like, malicious. I think it's ill-advised decisions. I think that sometimes they try and do something and do it wrong, or whatever. Or they could do more, or whatever. But I don't necessarily think it's lying. Couldn't see why it needs to be lying to be bad. Can we just take the subscriber money and then force Ben back to work on videos? And I like what Disco does. I just want more. That's all. I want him to bring back Calling All Depths. Ken Goss is pretty good. You, however, my friend, are terrible at marketing. Thanks, man. Shit. Are there differences in the Showdown versions of the ships that are on sale now? No, they're just available again. So them having Showdown written next to them is irrelevant. It's just saying that these ships are not normally available. They're available now. There's no special skins. There's no additions to the monthly insurance stuff. Oh, my eyes are fucked as well now. Good job. I've got a migraine. That's what it is. Good day, board. I'm still waiting on my Cutlass Red. I know they're dumbing it down from the 2 beds from the concept to 1. Do you know how far away they have the mechanic to drop med pens so that I can pick it up and then we can start medical gameplay? So I know that they want to put in the stab other people with medical pens and drag people. I know they want to get the Cutlass Red in for... Is it 3.8 now? I think it's 3.8. I'll have to check that. And then the Cutlass Blue in 3.9. We don't have the roadmap up. I'm a scrub-a-dub. Scrub-a-dub-dub on noob in the tub. That noob is me. No. Yes, so Cutlass Red 3.8 and Cutlass Blue 3.9, right? Yes. Yeah, so I'm hoping that they make the Cutlass Red and medical bays in ships in the short term places where you can potentially respawn. That would make me fucking happy. In-ship web browser like an Eve, maybe? Yeah, so they've got their rendered texture tech in-game to allow for you to technically stream and record from one area of space, or pictures, or transmit data from one area of space to another area. You could have your face in there, you could be chatting via comms, you could be recording a race, that you could also put quite easily YouTube on there if they wanted to, or music or whatever. I'm not sure how they're going to fully implement things like that, and what exactly route they're going down, but they have the ability to do it. They want to have the Mobileglass apps to entertain you to some degree, and for there to be things that you can do on your ships, so expect lots of cool little entertainment-y things. Is Brexit going to be okay? Yes. But whatever happens with Brexit, whether we stay or we leave, it'll be okay. And what we don't want is we don't want a forever limbo Brexit. So I would prefer me to either say, yeah, we're going to stay. No, we're going to leave. Yeah, we're going to have another referendum. Yeah, we'll have a general election. Get it sorted out. For me, financially, for the country, it looks to be significantly more sensible in the short to mid-term to stay in Europe and leverage our position better. I think people that want the sovereignty of the UK back, really, we want to just really, really, really aggressively use our position in Europe to get better deals for the UK and better bargaining and be a bit more sensible. Because we can obviously pass law into the EU and stuff. We just need to convince other countries to do it, and we've got a really good deal with the EU that we currently have. Leaving, yeah, I can see that it could damage the economy in the short term, but it takes back a load of our ability to make laws and do trade agreements outside of the EU, and potentially have a much stronger economy in the long term, maybe, or at least an economy that we can be more robust with, and have a bit more sort of like be more malleable with it when we want to be. Stuff that an economy that's more right for the UK at any given time. What we don't want is doing nothing. Doing nothing just damages the economy and doesn't allow the country enough time to, repair and regenerate. At least if we leave, we'll be able to grow out of it. We'll be able to go, bang, fuck it. Well, now we're expanding again. People are investing. We're very arse-about-face way of talking about Brexit. I cannot wait for the Devouring in-game. Yeah, so we've got the Asperia Prowler planned for 3.8. I do think it's probably it's one of those features that might get pushed back to 3.9. Hoping it doesn't. It's my lead moderator, Huntress's most loved ship. Fucking love you, Huntress. Yeah, I like the idea of the Devouring in-game. I think I like their ships more than I do the Banu ships, the way they look anyway, and the Vandal ships. Still like the human ships more. James Borlas, thank you very much for the donation. Very much appreciated. And Brandon Burton, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. And Jen Desperado, thank you very much for the raid. I'm the worst at noticing what's going on in my own chat. I'm literally the worst. Any indications on PTU and when it's going to be? No, not really. I mean, I would expect it now, looking at what they've said about live build for the 10th of October. I'd expect it next week now. And next week would be wider PT is what I'd expect. I love hover mode in 3.6. Too bad there's no radar for vertical hangers. I want belly cam. I want low resolution belly cam telling me where the ground is. But for hover mode stuff, I want the ability to be able to turn on and off what appears to be the solution for hover mode, which is the flight assist. That sounds like a good way of dealing with it. Just have that be able to be toggled on and off when I'm trying to land or do precision movements. Perfect. And then give ships a bit more weight feeling when you're in atmosphere. I wish they would call it on the ability to refuel the ships. This hurts my idea of playing Hillbilly Space Gas Station with the Starfarer. I think you're about to do that. I think, especially in less than lawful systems. So less lawful systems, there's going to be people that get trapped out there all the time. That is if people do not shoot down the effects that actually give MASP to, because it's 1,000 years in the future, MASP should not matter. Yeah, but I think they want... It's not a true representation of true physics simulator. It's not. It's going to be gameplay over sense and gameplay and fun over everything else. Like, obviously AI would do most of the stuff, and most of the stuff would probably be remote in the future as well, like 1,000 years from now. So they want stuff to be tactile, and they want stuff to, I suppose, fly like World War II planes, kind of, or have that sort of Wing Commander vibe to them as well. Did you see Million Soldiers' new video on his thoughts on the Mantis? No, I have not seen Million Soldiers' video yet. I will watch it later. Really like to hear your opinion on his thoughts. Bring up some good points. No, I have not seen it yet. I will watch it though. I haven't watched Salty Mike's views on it either. How would you feel if CIG began selling other items as concept, such as special aesthetic arm sets or weapons? I'm okay with CIG selling purely aesthetic weapons and armor sets that don't give you an advantage in game. I think it's stupid for them to do that. I think they would get a lot of flack for it. I think it'd be a silly idea. I wouldn't mind if they did it. I could be like, that was a silly marketing idea. In the future, I'm expecting that they will sell bespoke skins for armor and weapons that are like highly detailed, high quality, like cool ones, like fire all over it, or like a pretty girl wrapped around your armor or whatever. As they're moving forward, they're going to get less and less into that form of monetization, in my expectation anyway. It's a buy-to-play game where they want to sell the in-game currency as a thing and sell game packages. I suspect they'll still do concept sales. Do you hyped by the Carrack? Yes, so it's I'm pretty damn hyped for the Carrack. It's one of my favourite ships. I have one, and I think it's going to be a great multi-role, multi-crew ship. Especially with the mission sharing and lots of multi-crew stuff coming in soon. Hey, World, would love playing with you sometime and theory crafting about Star Citizen. Yeah, so I'm going to be on my Discord more and more, so feel free to join on that. And when I do gameplay, sometimes it's just going to be sort of like, anyone around, we're doing some gameplay, or anyone around, we're doing some streaming gameplay. Yeah, come, we're doing this mission, doing this. Like a really low effort version of Rexilla, lower energy, lower effort. Like, if instead of Rexilla being sponsored by like Red Bull, he was sponsored by like CBD oils. Just fucking wasted all the time. Do you think there'll be a market for spaceships, for example, that the ships in game are sold out of certain times because ships are still being built? Yes. There's going to be a dynamic economy. They're going to take into account the time it takes to build certain ships, the availability of the components for those ships. So yeah. I really like the arrow as well. Do you think the devs could give us the ability to make music with instruments in game, record it and cast it on comms like on VoIP? I mean, there's supposed to be a piano and musical instruments and things. I'm not sure how interactable they're going to be, though. Does anyone know what happened with the Taurus? Fucking no! No one fucking knows. I'm expecting they'll just unveil it and just go, we had it done all along. It was supposed to be done for, what, 3.8 or 3.8, I think. But it's been moved off the roadmap. It could be done, maybe it's a secret they've got done for 3.7. Maybe it's, for some reason, it's moved off the roadmap. I wouldn't imagine it would have taken them that long to get it done. That's all. It moved off the roadmap. We're not entirely sure why. And hopefully it's just going to reappear on the roadmap soon. Good job, Johnny Cashflow. Oh, Brandon Burton, thank you very much for the super chat. Thanks for the money. I don't know why you're giving me money. Why are people giving me money? I'm sitting here with a migraine, just talking really slowly about just reading stuff in the chat and going, oh, do you know what happened with the Taurus? It's the board asked me anything. I don't know. Next. Do you know when this is coming out? Maybe next week? Next? Like, I don't know, what am I doing with my life? Love you guys. Thank you so much. I mean, I know I'm informative sometimes, but people can give me a thumbs down. It's all good. People that give me a thumbs down, I give their mum a thumbs up, if you know what I mean. Pow, pow, pow. I mean, I watch her YouTube videos. How big do you think the multiplayer universe will be? Number of star systems, number of planets, etc. So expect, I know, average of maybe 3 to 4 planets a system. And they want to have 100 to 120 systems eventually. Though I do think it'll be like 10 years before we have 120 systems. I think it's going to be a while before they get all those out. I think within like maybe end of 3 years we'll have like 30 systems. Seems reasonable, yeah? 20 to 30 systems in 3 years. I think we'll see a new star system or a couple of star systems at CitizenCon. I think we'll potentially have those star systems next year. And then obviously Squadron 42 should be finishing off its work next year for the most part. And then there's a lot more devs to work on, a lot more of getting the content and finishing off the core of Star Citizen and then getting that content built out. Would there be a huge fallout if they went full pay-to-win with selling advantageous equipment? Yes, if they went full pay-to-win with it, you can only get it if you pay it with real money. Yeah, then there would be a huge fallout. I mean, it would be literally against what they said they were going to do, and you wouldn't be able to trust them. Do you think there will be a Gravlev truck by Drake with like a trailer? I think there will probably be a civilian Gravlev truck at some point. Tumbril are supposed to make robust Gravlev vehicles, I believe. In lore, anyway. Any news on when we get fixed weapon pips fixed? You shoot dead on, and it hits 10% of the time. So, okay, I'm hoping that stuff's fixed in 3.7. I mean, with all bugs and all like basic quality of life problems that are like, why the fuck isn't this fixed? Maybe it's done for 3.7. However, anything that's not, the majority of the bugs that are like that should be fixed for 3.8. They're basically saying with the staggered development model, they're spending more time on getting the patches out polished. So, hopefully with 3.7, more aggressively, yes, for 3.8 would be my expectation. And we'd have to really start holding CIG accountable for some of the basic bugs in the game from 3.8 onwards, I think. Because they talked about the staggered development. They said this is what it's here to do. It's to have better implementation of all these game features, make sure we get these game features more polished, less bugs, more quality of life, everything more playable, everything in a much better state. So cool, but I'm going to judge you for that. So no special interaction with the same or opposite or different genders in game. Nothing touchy, feely. Beyond, what you want to role play. Do you have Chescrods in the UK? I don't know what that is. No, probably not. Oh my god. What I'm going to do in a second then is when the Star Citizen Live starts, I'll switch over to that. I'll run downstairs and get an aspirin. And someone says salt sticks. Can I just eat some salt? Will that work? When the Carrack will be available on purchase, it will be limited number of them. Any idea? I wouldn't expect the Carrack to be limited in sales. And when they sell the Carrack again, which I expect to be around CitizenCon, 23rd of November, same as most of the other ships, you should be able to just freely buy it. You should also be able to buy it in-game as well around that time. That's what I'm hoping. Up aboard me. Yeah, I would have literally thought the constellation Taurus would be easier for them to get in-game. Maybe they've got them in Squadron 42, and for some reason they had to build out a special variant of it first, or like the Squadron 42 one they're using as like a super asset. I don't fucking know. Doesn't make any sense to me. I think you might see light updates to the constellations. Maybe that's why they've taken it so long to do the constellation Taurus, because they were reworking the connies. I hope they're not like doing big reworks on ships. They did say they weren't going to do big reworks anymore. Love the content you make. When and how did you become BoredGamer? Did you start by making Star Citizen content, or did you make other content before? Made other content before. Started just random games, and then I moved on to Diablo 3. Got pretty successful in doing Diablo 3 guides. Then I moved on to doing Diablo 3 and VR, and then VR and Star Citizen. And then I went, fuck it, I love Star Citizen. To occasionally do a little bit of VR on my channel. People give you money because you're a likeable guy. Oh, thank you very much, Andrew. I like your money as well. Oh, Verpine, thank you very much. We give you money because you're good company. And you share your smarts. And we love your face. He spelled WOV. Like you'd think WOV. With a W, U and a V. Like bruv, but... Or love. But with a W. Thanks. I can hear the popo outside. Hope they haven't come for me. Hey Board, am I jumping the gun by CCUing my Hulby for a Caterpillar? You're jumping the gun to an extent because you don't know what the Hulby is going to be like. The Hulby, what is it, $90? How much is a Caterpillar? If you've got the spare cash, I do think the Caterpillar is a better option. Because I don't like the Hull and Hulby. I don't think they're great. I think like they are more civilian ships that I'm not interested in. like civilian, that as in NPC civilian use rather than player civilian. Maybe they'll be used for missions and things. But I don't see much use for them for players. I do like the Caterpillar, and I think we'll start seeing modularity for the Caterpillar next year. I love my cat as well, mate. I fucking love cats. I think I like cats more than 90% of people. 99% of people. More like 3 systems in 20 to 30 years. Am I right? No, you're not right. Hopefully, Johnny Cash, you're not right. Well, hello to synchronizers as well. Stormfire. I think some of the Connie were moved off the roadmap due to collision issues in relation with Cargo Bay being buggy. That is true. There were problems with that. $130 DLC systems in the future. I don't. So it's buy to play Star Citizen. You don't need anything more than the starter game package, and I hope that's always the case. When will the annual sale happen? So there's the Anniversary Expo sale and CitizenCon on the 23rd of November. I am expecting something special on the 10th of October, so in a couple of weeks, because that's the Star Citizen sort of like start of Kickstarter anniversary and announcement of the game anniversary. There's also the ship showdown that's happening at the moment. So a load of ships are available that aren't normally available. People give you money to buy and wear more pleasure toys and gimbals for CCon. CitizenCon. Yeah, mate. Look at this fucking bad boy. I need to set it up properly. I need to connect to my phone. I couldn't work out to connect to my phone earlier. I also need to work out how to fucking use it. Weep. Weep. Have I not turned it on? Weep. 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 I'm not sure why I'm making a sound. It literally doesn't make that sound. It's pretty quiet. Let me hold this. It just fucking spazzes the fuck out. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sorry, don't vibrate. Don't vibrate there. It's vibrating. I don't know why. Listen. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm sorry. It's fine. It's fine. I would love to see CIG add faces of some bigger YouTubers for helping promote over the years. Would you like to see something like this? I want my face in game. Fuck yeah. We don't have to say thank you by getting my face in the game. I just want my face in game, mate. Although, I do look like the original pilot. A bit when I shave. Did you discuss the question of why the RSI... Did you already discuss the question of why RSI built an interdiction ship and not, say, Drake or perhaps Anvil? Seems out of character. It does seem more like it would be a Drake ship if it was a focused interdiction ship, yeah? I think they'll retcon into lore that interdiction ships have always been there. So the quantum enforcement ships in some way or another for war, maybe. Or at least dampening. Quantum dampening, because otherwise everyone would just disengage from each other freely. No. I mean, I don't necessarily dislike the idea it's RSI, but I do think Drake would have been a better fit. Are you hydrated? I think so. I've got a sore throat, so maybe not. Oh. Only at 3:15. Okay, it's starting in 12 minutes. It's like, why isn't this isn't on yet? They're live. If I feel really sick or it's not a great Star Citizen live, I'm just gonna dash off. It feel pretty rough. Although I would just like lying in bed feeling rough rather than sitting here feeling rough. So it's all the same to me. kind of, I suppose. No Mercury news yet. No. I'm hoping that they'll reveal what they've got, the plans for it soon. Do you expect a wider PTU in the next few days? I'm expecting it by next weekend now. It looks very unlikely to be for this weekend. New Citizen here. How good is CIG at inviting and getting us hyped for the game during CitizenCon? CitizenCon is the most hype thing, but it also all happens on the same day. Typically, do you know what I mean? So it's not like a long burn hype. It's hype while it's here, hype while it's happening. This is going to be in your hands in the not too distant future. This is what we've got planned for. These are loads of panels talking about future gameplay mechanics, what we've been working on for a while, what you're going to see in the game soon. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's a big marketing event as well. That's why they've also paired it with the Anniversary Expo this year, which is their biggest sales sort of like thing of the year as well. So that I suspect they're putting all the money for both the events they would normally do into a single event and trying to make Star Citizen a bit more mainstream. Give it like announcements, like I'm assuming we're going to see a Squadron 42 release date announced, things like that. Do you think CIG will keep the Arrow at its current level of small fighter mightiness? I think that the Anvil Arrow is going to be a very, very powerful light fighter. And I hope it stays at sort of like really fucking good, near top tier for light fighters. Obviously, it's going to be dependent a bit how the fighter performs when we have this guy's components and we have a bit more balance for the weapons and that sort of stuff. So I have to wait and see. But yeah, I like the Arrow. I think it's a cool ship, and I hope they keep it cool. So you're doing a Threadripper build, yes. Which one, and why not the Ryzen 9 3950X? So I read some bits into the 3950X. Was going to get one up until quite recently, but then they delayed it, and they delayed it, it appears, until the same time that the Threadrippers are coming out in November. And one of my mates that may or may not work with AMD in some capacity suggested that the Threadripper might be a better suit for my needs. I've also read some bits that those 3950Xs, they had some problems with the clock speeds not being up to what they wanted them to be, and they're having to push them a bit harder. So we don't know how great the chips are going to be yet. But apparently the Threadrippers, even the entry one, is pretty fucking amazing. But I still could go down the 3950X route if, when I see the reviews of the 3950X and the Threadripper, they basically say, this is better for your needs. Yeah? I'm not going to go, well, I'm definitely doing Threadripper. Well, I'm probably doing Threadripper, because it sounds like it's going to be better, but I would like your head in game. Perfect, Kai. We'll get it. We'll make it happen. Do you think that the Starfarer will get some work to help with the quantum fuel mining gameplay, and any idea when it might be? So, that's the weird thing. They've basically said that quantum matter is scanned for and mined by like prospectors, and what so it sounds like you scan it on rocks, on asteroids or whatever, and it's sort of like quantum matter is attached to other elements, and you need to take it quickly, mine it properly, take it away quickly, and then deliver it to a refinery quickly. It's possible that the Starfarer will have equipment, or they'll just go, oh no, actually the Starfarer can be equipped to mine quantum matter as well, which is probably what I'm thinking they might do. I thought about this for a while and thinking they're either just retcon the Starfarer saying, yeah, it's got the equipment as part of its loadout, or they'll say, well, it can be outfitted for quantum fuel mining. The other alternative is that it'll be done by mining ships, quantum matter mining, which would be weird, but possible. I just want a bit more information about it. For mission sharing, can you share with a large group of people, not just one other person? Yes, you can share with... The idea is that you can share with a full group, not just one other person. Doesn't matter where your face is in game. A meat pie vendor would be fine. Yeah, fuck it. I'll be anything, mate. I've been a homeless dude. you program your GoPro gimbal to seek out and lock onto Chris Roberts? That is the plan. Constantly on him. Wherever he's going. Chris is over here. He's in the toilets. Any news of the faceware camera lately? No, I actually suspect that part of the Crytek lawsuit was causing some issues with that now. I'm thinking about it and looking into it. I'm hoping we see at CitizenCon the unveil of the faceware camera to be on sale. It was supposed to be on sale like last year. When is CitizenCon 2019? 23rd of November. The anniversary that I'm talking about, though, is 10th of October. You look a little like Miles Eckhart. Thanks. Fuck you. What's your opinion on the current state of fixed versus gimbaled weapons? Saber with fixed or gimbaled? I mean, at the moment, with the auto gimbals are super powerful. So they need to have that stuff balanced. They need to have it balanced sensibly. I really hope we see jump point gameplay this year. I'm almost certain we will see a new star system and probably jump points connecting them. So I would expect to see it at CitizenCon. So, got Star Citizen Live going on here. Go through the rest of these questions quick. Did the new interdiction mechanic cause unexpected environmental issues, e.g. enraged giant sandworms, causing them to rampage? Maybe space whales will get angry as well. They start flying around. I'm hoping that when they have animals, that things cause them to do odd behaviours. Like, yeah, if you do an EMP near some animals or whatever, it does cause them to go angry and attack you or something. That would be cool if they can do that. Well, waiting for animals in the game first. You're awesome and this game is awesome. My question is, I love Star Citizen. Well, I'm hoping that it will eventually be awesome. I love it at the moment. I love the community at the moment. And I love messing around and playing with a load of people in the community. And I think Star Citizen is a beautiful tourist destination at the moment. But it needs to come together for me at some point. I can't just... I'm not going to spend the next 5 years just going... more tech demo elements. Well, I probably would. But I would like the game to come together in that time. And be like really playable, have full persistence.
Hey everybody, this is our audio test. This is the sound of my voice. Hey Richard, what does your voice sound like?
Hello, my voice.
Do you believe that the RSI Mantis may encourage griefing within the verse? No more than normal. Quite genuinely, people can just ram you on the landing pad if they want to now. The RSI Mantis actually requires them to do more effort and have a better ship than just ramming you with infinite amounts of auroras. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. I think there's going to be quite a bit more gameplay associated with the Mantis, as long as they balance the lore system with it properly, and as long as they have that detectable eventually. You can detect where these things are being deployed if you use scanners correctly. Any news on the Polaris? Nope. But I like the RSI Mantis idea, to be honest. According to the ship info, the Starfire has a scoop in the front which collects fuel in the environment. Yes, but I'm hoping that it gets some ability to have equipment, potentially, that would allow it to mine quantum matter. Because that's where we assumed we were getting quantum fuel from. It would be different pockets of gas. We get your head in game as a giant space station, like the Titan head from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, fuck it, why not? Scan my head in and make it a space station. Or like just a planet. My weird potato head. Squadron 42, do you think the Polaris will be in it? It could be. You think we'll ever see the return of Galactic Tour videos? I love those, and I thought it would be... they could do so much more with them. Yeah, I think they'll probably evolve the format and try something out again with it. is it griefing if it's an unintended gameplay mechanic? Referring to the Mantis. He thinks no, it's not. So the griefing is specifically trying to, troll people, get emotional response, attack them repeatedly, do stuff that's typically unintended, or do stuff that's going around the game systems to specifically attack someone or bully someone or whatever, ramming someone on the pad repeatedly, and like calling them all the names under the sun while doing it, and not letting them ever leave because lol, because you can't leave because the game system's able to keep you here. So I think it's obvious when it's griefing and obvious when it's gameplay, in my opinion. Some people seem to get confused between the two. I think of upgrading my Nox Q to a Banu Defender. Maybe. It's obviously money. If you've got the money spare, consider it. Obviously, it should be flyable and on sale with 3.7. Do you think the Defender will release with EMP missiles? No, I don't think it will release with EMP missiles, but I do think it will get the EMP missiles later. What do you think of them splitting up mission reward when sharing a mission? Yeah, I think that's sensible. I think you should be able to split it. The captain should be able to choose exactly how it's split in the future, but I think a robust contract system is useful. Automated at the moment is good. Right.
I'm your host, Jared Huckabee, and joining us on the show this week are two people. One you're going to be probably very familiar with, and one, well, you might be meeting for the very first time. Let's start with a person that you're all probably going to be very familiar with.
I'm going to get some painkillers.
Tell us who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
Hi, everyone. I'm
Thanks,
Sean
Eric.
Tracy, the Technical Director of Content at Cloud Imperium Games, and recently, over the last few months anyways, have been working with the likes of Richard and Todd and John Crew and everyone on the combat pillar for Star Citizen.
Right. So folks who remember the conversation about pillars at last year's CitizenCon and have followed with recent episodes of Pillar Talk know that we've separated our development into, how many pillars are there? 6, 7?
Six. I think 6, but really...
You pay attention to the ones you work on.
They kind of weave in and out, right? Like, it's like, oh, well, is ships a pillar? Yes, of course ships are a pillar,
Yeah.
and it's... Yeah.
Gotcha. So you are presently in charge of the...
We just call it combat, but realistically what it is, it's a combination of a couple teams, and it's the actor feature team, the weapon feature team, a bit of the weapon content team, then an internal level team, and some gameplay teams. So FPS systems design really exists within this combat pillar. So the biggest part of what we're doing recently anyways is on the actor gameplay, the core gameplay of Star Citizen, not in the ships.
Gotcha. And then joining us for I'm pretty sure this is your very first Star Citizen Live, Richard, right?
It is, yes.
It is, right. So Richard, tell us who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
Hey guys, so I'm Richard Tyra. I'm the lead FPS systems designer, and basically I do everything related to the characters. So anything to do with weapons, actor gameplay, anything that Sean just described is under my umbrella.
Gotcha. So I imagine you've done a lot of work recently on Star Marine, and that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep, Star Marine, Arena Commander, electronic access as a whole, which is the whole part of this, and I want to make sure we're talking about electronic access as well, because ultimately electronic access is the umbrella term that houses Arena Commander and Star Marine, just as its own separate bit from Star Citizen or Squadron.
Let's talk a little bit about that before we get to the questions.
Sure.
If you had to describe Arena Commander and Star Marine to somebody, just like a mission statement, kind of an overall,
Sure.
What is Arena Commander and Star Marine?
Arena Commander, it takes the core gameplay of Star Citizen, the core ship gameplay of Star Citizen, and puts it directly in front of you with no barriers. So that is Arena Commander for me. You select how you want to play. Again, if it's horde mode, if it's sort of like survival horde modes, if it's multiplayer, swarm battles, squadron battles, something like this. So there's a lot of different ways to play that core combat, but really the mission statement is it is the core ship gameplay testing ground of Star Citizen.
Or at the very least we want it to be.
Exactly. And Star Marine is no different, except it has to do everything with the actors, everything with the characters, everything with the armor, the FPS sort of gameplay side. So that is the petri dish of the core character gameplay for Star Citizen. So that's how I'd kind of put the two together. And then they are both simulations within the world, within the universe of Star Citizen. Excuse me. And they're basically games within our game. You access electronic access, sort of like somebody would access the Oasis, you know, in Ready Player One or something like this. The electronic access is ultimately that same second life inside of already a second life. So it's a bit of a weird concept sometimes to get across, but I think generally the community understands it, and I think I want to do a little bit more. To make that clear that is a thing.
A lot of what you were just saying about the mission statement, those are pretty reasonable goals, I think, for Arena Commander and StarMarine. Candidly, would you say that Arena Commander and StarMarine is there right now?
Is accomplishing those two things.
StarMarine and
I would say they are.
The arcade experiences.
But more from a development standpoint, less from a player standpoint, meaning, you know, is it a perfect game right now? Heck no. You know, we're not definitely not. There's been new systems. There's new developments that have happened.
Oh, thank you, Eric.
There's new scanning
Thank
systems.
you.
There's so many new things that we're not quite taking all advantage of yet. There's ground vehicles, for example, and where's the ground vehicle in Arena Commander or StarMarine right now? You know, those kind of things. So there's new things that have come up that we're not taking advantage of.
Is this the guy responsible for Pips?
And that's a big part of why we have this kind of renewed focus on Arena Commander and StarMarine.
And we've had it for a little while. It's just in terms of the resource share around the company, right? We've got two other games that
two little games.
Just these other ones. You know, every time I go, well, you know, there's this crash in Arena Commander, and they're like, well, do you want Squadron 42 shipping? And I'm like, well, no, Arena Commander is much more important. So really, there's two games that actually have to take the resources long before Arena Commander, or let's just say Electronic
So we know they've been
kind of gets them. And I'm not saying that means that nothing happens, but it does mean that a lot fewer people are assigned to it. And what we've really got to be intelligent about, anyways, on electronic access is things that we do within DPU or Squadron 42, trying to make the most use out of those things that happen there to be able to apply them within.
Do we know that they've been wanting to work on a little bit of Arena Commander, StarMarine for a while? Have dedicated teams on them and stuff like that.
SC Live, like the building blocks.
Small amount of people on
stuff like this. As that came online, it was like, great, we can apply all of that.
Thanks for the love,
fix the
appreciate
kill
it, mate.
notifications, fix the score notifications, you know, actually rebalance all that kind of stuff within there, because again, the kill notifications have been broke for 2 releases or something to this effect. So yeah, trying to use things that are happening within the PU or Squadron 42 to benefit it is the best way to get work done. But recently, we get more and more resources to actually do some stuff with it. So I think we got a few quarters ago, we made some changes to team deathmatch as well as to deathmatch, and we even changed some of the maps.
Do you think that there's too little of a reward if you're splitting up 5k between 2 to 6 players?
And I
No,
think,
so there'll be harder
it's also
missions.
a change in mindset, really, in terms of being able to utilize. Sean touched on it when he said testbed. You know, being able to utilize those two products in terms of StarMarine and Arena Commander, and actually utilize those for a testbed for the core gameplay. So, you know, when we've got new weapons, new armor is coming online, or anything to do with the core gameplay, the general locomotion, that's something that we can utilize.
They can test stuff in StarMarine.
Really
So
hone down and focus
we are going to have rewards and missions that are much higher, but they require more people to complete. That's the idea.
And the combat pillar in itself, and that's something that we can really drive down and focus on.
So, as always on our Friday shows,
they're working on the combat pillar.
By the way, Richard, just one.
Also giving improvements to Arena Commander and StarMarine at the same time.
We take questions live from our chat. We take questions from 2 places. One in the Twitch chat, if you're watching on twitch.tv/StarCitizen. Also
Perfect.
on Spectrum,
headphone
where our bespoke
model.
communication platform is. Please preface your question with the word question in capital letters surrounded by brackets. It's going to help us pull it out from all the other chat. We also put up a thread earlier this week and started collecting questions throughout the week that people could vote on, see which ones they wanted to see addressed most. And right off the bat, we'll start with those right now. We've heard that there are new Pirate Swarm improvements coming with Alpha 3.7. Let's run those down real quick.
Getting hammerheads to fight against?
Yeah, so some Pirate Swarm improvements coming already for Arena Commander, and actually just a rework of the waves. I'll run down basically the list of things that have happened. So first of all, we rebalanced the difficulty. Is that going to be?
He's turning it off right now.
We've got some cooling happening, but I mean, it's only 8:30 in the morning right now, just so everybody's aware.
The lights are hot.
Right.
Pirates.
Might have been the Great Quake.
Yeah, it's the big one. Okay, so we rebalanced the difficulty curve over now 10 waves. So it used to be
10
I
waves.
think 15, was 12 for a time, but now it's 10. And we've rebalanced that difficulty curve not only with just the AI, but with your wingmen that are coming in and against certain ships. So you can complete this in a starter ship all the way up to kind of the biggest ship, and it should be a challenge through the whole thing.
Okay, so is it different based
But
on
it
the
should
ships
be a
you're with
ramp
then?
up of challenge, and this is something that we're really, really trying to balance in now. And it's actually tricky because it's a balance of not just the actual loadouts of the ships, not just what ships are coming in, but how many and how good your wingmen are that we bring in during certain waves. So it's a bit of a juggling act really to get that balance correct. One of the other exciting things is we increased the playable area. They're much bigger now. So
Ooh.
again, the ships are moving a lot faster. People needed a lot more room to maneuver. And the other thing they needed was not to run into a wall. So there's really, like, I've not been to space, but in all the movies I've seen, there's not a lot of walls in space. I have seen a library.
I like the idea that I don't get to ram into
in a black
walls.
hole.
There's a big metaphysical wall
There's a
in
big
Interstellar.
library, and you do see back through time or whatever, but no walls. So the idea was to make this boundary a soft boundary. It's a little more like other games where you'll go over the boundary, you know it's there, but it doesn't. You don't run into it like you've just run into a building or something like this. So that's a little bit better. And again, it just gives you a warning that you're outside of the range. Eventually, it'll kill you, but if you don't come back in. So again, it plays a little bit nicer. Now, I say
the
we
Banu
increased the
Defender might get a
playable area in
little
all the maps.
price increase.
Not actually true.
Maybe a little one.
It's only on one of the maps right now. So in the Dying Star, that's the one that's a lot bigger. There's a reason for it, and it mostly has to do with the map itself and the assets that were within it. It was really easier to make Dying Star quite large, but on Broken Moon, we have, everybody knows that that's not an actual planet, right? Like, I mean, we haven't put a real planet, within it. Sorry, a real planet.
I didn't. You just ruined Christmas.
No,
for me.
I mean like a digital planet, one of the actual PU planets within there. It's actually just this hemisphere that actually, if you carried it around, isn't actually circular. It just looks nice.
It was built before procedural planets.
It was built
2014.
The first actual playable level, like not hangars were first, and then this level came in. So it's about one of the oldest levels we have. That one was a little more tricky. So we started scaling it up, basically. LODs are a problem, and then you can actually really notice that planet isn't really a planet. So we want to make some improvements to that map too. We will increase the size, and the obvious thing is, okay, just put a planet in. And that's what Chris has been saying, so we'll probably go ahead and do that.
Cool.
So we will make those changes to Broken Moon as well, but I think the boundary changes are also within Broken Moon, so that's nice stuff.
So the boundary changes for Broken Moon don't just apply to Pirate Swarm; they apply to any other.
That's right. Any
you
other
play on
mode that's within there. So, and again, this had a lot to do with the ships moving around a lot quicker now. Added more ammo in the missile drops. So that was a little bit of a frustrating thing that the missile drops weren't giving you enough ammo. You would run out, instantly, and it's a rewarding and fun sort of thing. We didn't want to have Arena Commander feel like it's super restricted ammo, super restricted weapons. Like, we want them to play. We want them to, not save too many of their missiles, too many of the things like this, because it's not that type of game. It's a little more arcadey than it is like a survival type thing. The other thing, a lot more ammo in the ballistic pickups. When you had the lower size weapons with just this high refire rate, you would run out of all your ammo. So that was another one. Speaking of the UI building blocks, we added objective sort of hints. Not even hints. It's real direct. Go do this. One of the big pieces of feedback that we'd get from Arena Commander, or just generally for the game, is that readability of what my actions that I need to take are a little bit hard. So we make it very obvious, and now that we've got building blocks, we can kind of do all this stuff. We added more ships across the waves and some different ships.
Cool.
Also,
That's what I want.
repairs are
More
available
ships
a
and
lot
different ships.
sooner. This has to do with it being a little bit more challenging now, that the repairs need to be available a little bit sooner, otherwise it was kind of frustrating. I could run through the ships, but I think better that you guys play it. And then the biggest change actually is in the last wave, wave 10. After a bit of a delay, we're going to spawn 10 friendly Merlins, but there's a Hammerhead at the end. Now, a Hammerhead is a tough ship. It is not easy, and it's not meant to be easy.
10 friendly
It's a boss.
Merlins.
This is it's just this little boss fight, basically. But you've got a chance to take out that ship on your own. But after a short delay, you're going to get 10 Merlins on your side. And this is the thing that a lot of people, they'll spend a little bit of time with the hammerhead and they're like, okay, I give up. The shields are too strong. There's not much I can do. But we wanted to give you a little bit of that sense of, not sure you're going to make this one, and then bring in those Merlins. So it's pretty exciting at the end. It's a nice climactic end because, again, I found the waves before,
P52s.
They were fine. It just was pretty flat in terms of an excitement kind of curve. So at the end of it, we get a good, climactic event, and you take out this hammerhead. So generally, that's pretty much.
It could be interesting. It'd be a good laugh.
3.7, and again, this was just a small set of people. So
The old 10 Merlin trick.
yeah.
It's such a weird.
Yeah, we think it's a lot more fun than even just bringing in one or two of the stronger ships. It's a little fun, especially with the hammerhead, to see a lot of them little ships going on because when the hammerheads are going, you got the turrets going, you got everything. It's pretty exciting.
Maybe it looks cool.
And
Yeah,
we wanted to make it a little more exciting, but we got to wait for another release to do it. Give a little final cinematic at the end too.
Richard, what are the plans for What are the plans for FPS scanning? Will it be similar to ships?
Okay,
like
this is something else I want to know.
IR, EM, CS, stuff like that. And what kind of equipment will we have to do this?
So FPS scanning will be similar to ships. It will have a unique nuance in the fact that FPS scanning and what I call FPS radar in terms of its ping system will actually be less passive. So it'll be something that you actively use rather than it being on all the time.
It's not a radar, it's a scan.
I think the passive version will actually only search for audio, so for decibels. So you can hear people in the distance, or if you hear gunshot from an FPS point of view, then it will obviously appear on your radar. But if you actually actively ping, that will then track the other emissions. So you'll get EM and IR, and then eventually later down the line, as we start to work towards armor gameplay, then that's when armor will start to give off those emissions and things like that, and then you can bring in different components in terms of
active
different
scanning
levels
of
of
people though to find their
FPS
names.
radar in terms of FPS scanning. And obviously FPS scanning will have similar functionality. You'll be able to select or highlight over a target, and then that will give you more information on that target, loadout, and so on and so forth. So the plans are that we want the FPS and the ships to feel like the similar experience. We don't want you to get out the ship and it's a totally different experience than when you're in the ship. So we want to have that kind of holistic approach, that approach where you feel like everything's connected, that all of these disparate systems are playing together for one, unique experience. So that's kind of the overall idea for FPS radar and scanning, but that's something that we'll be working on absolutely in the future.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify. I should clarify it in the question. That's not something that's coming online with Alpha 3.7. That question is more a design philosophy going forward as far as FPS.
Absolutely. So that's something that we've got on our minds. It's something that we're working towards. And as in terms of the roadmap and so on and so forth, we've got lots to work on. But in terms of general idea and philosophy, that's the principle.
Because I want to be able to scan people at Port Olisar to find their name out, and be able to target teammates and go, what's their name before I invite them and stuff.
On the combat pillar,
Perfect.
Specifically. But we really try to get out in front of the designs for the implementation. So we've got a great idea of what we're doing on the combat pillar all the way actually until the middle of next year at this point, and actually even the next quarter.
Cool.
Quarter 3.
Give us the information then. Put it on the roadmap.
He's already seeing something coming in the quarter forward from that. So he's already getting the design all worked out. And by worked out, I mean pretty exhaustive. By the time we get to it, it's like we know exactly what we're doing at the moment that we do. And that's why in the last couple months, anyways, we've been able to get some pretty huge features out from the actor team, like the personal commodity inventory, the animation. Actually, no, we haven't done that one yet. That one's coming in 3.8. That's going to be a nice one, though. Everybody's going to like that.
Something new in 3.8.
For some stuff. Yeah, anyways, just wanted to give a shout out.
I mean, fundamentally, it's about making sure that all of the designs that, we're making a big game, that all of those designs tie in together. And, if you design something today, but you don't take into account what's coming in the future, then all of a sudden, when you design that future system, you have to look back and go, actually, we need to change this. And then you get a scenario where you're having to change a lot of things. Now, obviously, that's not always possible, but I think it's always a good philosophy to try and take into account everything that's going to come in, so that you can go, okay, how is this going to impact this? How is actor status going to impact, the health system, or how is stamina going to play into the different locomotion? So I think that's kind of the overall general principle and philosophy that we're trying to aim for, to make sure that, when it all comes in, it creates something that we actually want.
All right, so the number one question that was voted on in the thread throughout the week is
It's like, am I a joke
bots
to you?
in Star Marine.
1 million.
I do remember. There's a wonderful meme of me just sinking into my chair. Like,
Yeah, 1 million.
What are the plans for bots in Star Marine? PvE
Bots.
modes.
Getting
People
bots.
don't always like to play against other people. Sometimes they like to get together with their friends and just practice against bots.
Yep. Yeah, we want to do the same thing. And actually, really interestingly, the internal AI teams, they kind of want the same thing. So this one takes a little bit of markup on the maps. We've got to get a wave spawner in. We've got some basics to this where we can pre-place the characters. But what we want to do is have a little more, I hate to say it, but a systemic setup where it's much more procedural. And by procedural, it's more just generated, right? I want to put a spawner in. I want to say what kind of guy I want, whether I want a male, female, whether it's a rich guy, poor guy, whether he's got lots of guns, whether he's got a few guns, whether he's got good abilities or not, and the designers will be able to set all this kind of stuff and it ramp up over time. But actually, the whole existence of the Good Doctor map has a lot to do with wanting to do a swarm mode. So this was something that came down from Chris and Aaron.
So Good Doctor's the new map in 3.7.
StarEngine, absolutely, and it's such an obvious thing because to a degree, and not even to a degree, we are actually doing that within Arena Command. We got 2 different survival modes already, and we don't have a single one within Star Marine, and a lot of that just comes down to the actual development of that given AI. Now, I don't want to go super into detail because that's another pillar, another director, another set of people that are working on that. But of course, Squadron AI has to be the top priority, and then PU next, and then everything within here. So just like I said at the start, as they progress on the Squadron AI, as they progress on the PU AI, we will take advantage of that kind of stuff. But right now, the best spot in the PU is this underground facility with this stuff. For me, it wasn't yet enough to be able to make a really reasonable sort of swarm survival horde Star Marine mode. But very soon we will be there. And again, the Good Doctor map was actually built and incepted to do specifically that. Now, we
so
didn't want
let's
to
get
just
swarm
hold on to
modes.
that map. Was kind
And
of the
wait
thing.
until
In
the
FPS
And
Star
wait
Marine.
until the AI
Which
was
is good.
done. We
Wish we had that a lot earlier, though, like a year
making
earlier.
A deathmatch
Yeah.
map is not too dramatically difficult in terms of sightlines and things like this. So we figured, why not release the map while we wait for the AI to kind of be in a state that we want to do that with.
And by releasing the map earlier, players get to beat on it a bit. You show us some of the shortcomings of it, and we can iterate.
Yeah.
as necessary.
It's bad to say
You want
it this way,
oxygen,
but
mate?
yeah, we get some free QA. Is kind of the thing, but it's good.
Crucial Body 2 AI is different from the PE? Yeah, I mean, the AI in the persistent universe is
That's how it's supposed to work.
ready for
Richard,
multiplayer
and
and has
when
to
we
react
do,
to multiple
actually,
players.
obviously
It's very
work
different
towards
base.
the PvE side of things.
Could be a
one
lot
thing
more
that we will
scripted
get
and
is that we'll
faked
get a
in
different set of
Squadron 42,
feedback.
or at least.
So, when it's PvP, when it's player against player, and when we have that more focused experience, in the Good Doctor or any other map that we eventually add AI to, I think that will give us some really good feedback, and it will be different compared to the PvP feedback. It potentially different player base in terms of people who really focus on the PvE side.
I'm surprised that they don't have underground bunkers and space station interiors as multiplayer levels in Star Marine, and then just build the AI to be able to walk around that, and then they can put that straight into the persistent universe. That's the way I do it. But
We've got some images from the Good Doctor map. Since we brought it up now, let's go ahead and take a look.
so this is in
yes.
3.7.
We've seen one image so far. We don't have video today, but we do have some screenshots that can take us through. Maybe tell us what it is that we're looking at here.
Is that
Most
coming
of the
through?
exercise
That is
area.
coming through.
Cool. So this is actually the. It's on a slideshow. 1 second. I think it's. Is that still coming through?
It's a hospital
Yeah.
or a clinic, as far as
So
I'm
this is
aware, on
actually,
layer
you can
2.
actually just see outside here. So this is the internal reception area for the Good Doctor map. So it's actually one of the first maps that we have that's actually embedded on a real planet. So as we were talking before, this is actually a real planet that this is actually embedded on. And this is the internal kind of the main atrium area that provides the
Layer 2,
access from
you've heard of
to
Layer 3
outside
before
to
because
the
that's where the
interior
sandworm
and
is.
to the habitation on the other side, and then to the science labs on this side. So if I actually go through, so here you can see this is actually the science labs, and you can see it's a different feel, and that's something that we really wanted to have a difference compared to the other maps that are already released, is that this map we wanted it to feel fairly light and bright. So you can see in the atrium it's got that exterior lighting, and here it's fairly bright and it fits in with this science, but you also get these unique areas of the map. So in obviously some other maps where it's quite dark, you can't really tell where you are. It's very clear in terms of, okay, this gives you a really good read on the areas that you are, and then this is more the habitation side of things. So the habitation, obviously, it's been more dressed up, it's more warmer colors, whereas the science labs part of it's more colder colors. And this, we really spent a lot of time on the FPS side to make sure we got good line of sights, good areas, and also, if actually just to switch back to here, one of the big things that we wanted to do was push some of the line of sights, so that you weren't just going around a corner and it was a quick shoot off, that we had some more medium to longer range gameplay. So as we keep going, see this is more of a top-down view of that initial atrium area.
Interested to see what those trees look like.
Going, so this
very
is now
close.
outside. So we've got the outside area is fairly fleshed out. You can't actually jump off as much as you probably will want to onto the planet, so it's still a kind of focused experience in terms of this map, but it just provides a bit of difference that you can go interior and
I'll take
exterior
a shit in
and get a
Disco's
bit
elevator.
of a sense of
You know what I mean?
representative gameplay that would be on the PU rather than just a specific gameplay mode. Here we've got another exterior, or you're the interior looking outside. Then some more of the habitation areas. But I really like the art on this. Actually, you can see some of the, if we touch on the lore, some of how the Good Doctor came to be and how it fits into the lore of Star Citizen.
3.7 live looks like it's coming 10th of October. PTU between now and then.
Absolutely. I want to
sharing.
This is one of the more interesting changes to Star Marine that I think is that we're starting to build, I guess, scenarios or situations that are reflective of moments in our lore.
Well, yeah, it's one of the things when I took some of this combat pillar stuff over, and we were talking about the Arena Commander electronic access games. Overall, the thing that always surprised me was the amount of lore, even working here, that we have. I mean, the stories are just, there's so many.
I'm going to have to dash
so
off.
Many interesting ones.
I've got a terrible migraine.
Okay,
I'm going to die.
Some of them are
What I'm
not
gonna
big
do
enough to tell
is
in
I'm gonna,
a grand Squadron 42 game,
pass this over, so
or
it's
not even big
posted.
enough maybe to tell in missions or
I'll
something.
give you the link as well.
But maybe the scenario is something that we can tell within Star Marine or Arena Commander.
I apologize for that.
Why don't we make this less about a
did not
game
think I would
where
feel
it's
so
like,
rough.
okay, log in, get your ship, kill 10 waves,
Flash.
see ya.
Right.
It's just not as compelling when we have as much lore that we have. So I'd really, really want to be telling kind of scenario-based stories. And what this makes is something that's a little more. You can set it up to be like an objective-based game mode where
Sorry about that.
actually telling stories.
I love you so much,
of the
guys.
lore.
Thanks so much for
And
joining me.
wouldn't this
Sorry if that
be
feels
what
particularly well
the
today. I'll
electronic access
stream on the
would be?
weekend.
Because again, we talked about
to
the
make up for it.
concept of,
We'll chat about
the Oasis within Star Citizen.
other stuff
so
that we find
electronic
out.
access
You
is
take
this
care.
Oasis. Now,
Love you guys.
What would
Talk
those
soon.
people do
And,
with it within Star Citizen?
peace.
So you're a person, you live in the verse.